my beloved child. The family member who once caused you so much pain is now facing profound regret. Yet, what was wounded can no longer return to exactly what it once was. I know this touches a deeply private place within you, a place you tried to conceal behind silence, strained smiles, and countless days of telling yourself that everything would eventually become better on its own. You once hoped that this person would recognize the value of your bond before it was too late, that they would return with sincerity before the cracks became a distance too wide to bridge. Yet they crossed boundaries they should have known to honor. And now your absence is teaching them what your words could never make them understand. I witnessed every moment in which you were wounded by the very person you had trusted. I know how long their cold words remained within your heart, how their prolonged silence caused you to wonder what you had done wrong, and how many nights you turned your face toward the darkness so that no one would see your tears. What hurt you was not only what they did, but also the fact that you had given them such an intimate place in your life. You hoped to be protected, yet received indifference. You longed to be understood, yet were treated as though your feelings were unworthy of care. These things were not insignificant, and I will never ask you to pretend they did not happen merely to preserve an appearance of peace. Even so, I want you to understand that their regret is not a new burden for you to carry. Perhaps they are now looking back and wishing they had spoken differently, acted more wisely, or protected the relationship instead of allowing pride, anger, and selfishness to guide them. Perhaps they now realize that you were never easily replaceable, and that your gentle presence, loyalty, and patience were gifts they took for granted. Yet, a realization that comes too late does not mean you must reopen every door in the same way as before. Forgiveness does not require you to return to a place that repeatedly drained you. And compassion does not demand that you continue giving someone permission to hurt you when they have not truly changed. Some consequences do not come to destroy a person, but to help them see their choices clearly. That person is now standing before a mirror created by their own actions. The distance between you today did not suddenly fall from heaven without cause. It is the result of many moments when your feelings were dismissed. Many opportunities for repair were ignored, and many assumptions were made that you would always remain no matter how you were treated. I take no pleasure in anyone's sorrow, but neither will I erase the lesson they need to learn. If you rush to rescue them from every consequence, you may unintentionally interrupt the growth that they themselves must undergo. You have wondered whether everything might someday return to the way it once was. I understand that question, because you still carry beautiful memories. Seasons when you were close, and moments that made you believe your connection would endure. Yet you must know that not everything that was once good is meant to be restored in its former shape. Some seasons have completed their purpose. Some relationships must take on a different form so that you may live in greater peace. Some doors close not because you have failed, but because you are being released from a cycle in which you continually hoped, became disappointed, and then blamed yourself. Therefore, do not interpret this transition as evidence that you have been abandoned. You are not being cast aside. You are being placed in a new position. You are not being rejected. You are being removed from a place where your kindness was exploited. You are not losing your future. You are being led toward a future no longer bound by old wounds. You may not yet see everything being arranged, but I am guiding you toward relationships that honor boundaries, treasure sincerity, and never force you to beg for the most basic forms of care. What you lacked in the past will not determine what you are permitted to receive tomorrow. This change is beginning within you. The pain that once pierced you whenever you remembered is gradually becoming still. The questions that once kept you awake no longer hold the same power. You are beginning to understand that some things require no final explanation, no perfectly resolved conversation, and no complete confession of wrongdoing from the other person before you can move forward. Your peace cannot remain dependent upon whether they are willing to accept responsibility. When you return to them what belongs to them and keep only the wisdom that belongs to you, the burden within you will become lighter. I am teaching you how to release without becoming bitter. Letting go does not mean denying what happened. It means refusing to allow the past to continue controlling your present. You can acknowledge that you were hurt without becoming someone who lives only through the wound. You can remember what happened without allowing it to determine how you will love in the future. You can maintain distance while still hoping that the other person grows in wisdom. This is not weakness. It is the mark of a heart that has passed through suffering without allowing another person's darkness to extinguish its purity. If that person returns with an apology, listen with calmness rather than with a desperate desire to be compensated for what you endured. Observe whether change is revealed consistently over time instead of being carried away by words spoken in a moment of regret. Genuine repentance is always accompanied by responsibility, patience, and respect for boundaries. You do not need to decide hastily, nor must you pressure yourself to return simply because they are now hurting. Mercy does not require the removal of every limit. In some circumstances, forgiveness prepares the way for reconciliation. In others, forgiveness merely allows you to leave in peace. Let discernment lead you, and do not allow guilt to drive you back into a place from which I have just delivered you. What matters most now is not the depth of their regret, but the depth of your growth. You have learned that love should never require you to lose your voice, that loyalty must be protected by both people, and that family ties or shared blood are not excuses for someone to continually violate your boundaries. You are becoming wiser without becoming cold, stronger without becoming closed, and more careful while still preserving your compassion. This is the beauty I am cultivating within you through experiences that once seemed capable of leaving nothing but pain. Let that person carry their lesson and continue forward carrying yours. Do not return merely to prove that you are still a good person, because goodness does not need to sacrifice peace in order to be recognized. Do not cling to anger simply to make them understand how deeply you were hurt, because you would be the one continuing to bear its weight. Set down the past with peaceful hands. What was lost will not necessarily be replaced by an identical relationship, but by clarity, self-respect, and healthier connections. I am restoring you in a way far deeper than simply returning everything to its former condition. My beloved child, what happened did not diminish your worth. Their betrayal did not prove that you were undeserving of love. And their late regret is not the only evidence that you once mattered. You have always been precious. Even during the days when no one protected you as they should have. Now, allow yourself to enter a new season without looking back in sorrow. I am going before you, opening spaces where peace is no longer fragile and where your happiness no longer depends upon waiting for another person to change. The old door may never reopen in the way you once hoped, but Vida, healthier, and more suitable paths are appearing before you. Paths aligned with the person you are becoming. Trust me, release what wounded you, and move forward with a lighter heart. For your future is not held within their regret. It is held within the healing and maturity blossoming in you each day. There have been moments when you believed you were slowly losing yourself. But in truth, I was helping you separate from things that were never truly yours. The labels others placed upon you, the expectations that pressured you to live against the inner calling within you, and the habits formed through fear are now being removed one by one. Because of this, you may feel confused, empty, or unable to recognize yourself as you once did. Yet, my beloved child, this is not evidence that you are falling apart. It is evidence that a more authentic version of you is emerging from where it had long been hidden. I am not causing you to fade. I am refining you. I am not taking away your value. I am separating you from everything that caused you to forget how precious you are. This process can be painful because you became accustomed to old garments even after they no longer fit. You learned to use silence to avoid rejection, to please others in order to preserve fragile relationships, and to hide your light so that no one would feel uncomfortable. You diminished your voice, restrained your dreams, and doubted the clear inner guidance I placed within you. Now, as I lead you away from that way of living, your heart may tremble because familiar things are departing. Yet what is familiar is not always good, and what feels safe is not always true peace. Some cages are beautifully decorated, but they remain cages. I am opening the door for you to step outside, even while your feet hesitate before the vastness of the sky. You cannot enter the strength prepared for you while continuing to preserve an identity shaped by fear. Therefore, I am teaching you to release the roles you believed you had to perform in order to be loved. You do not need to appear strong in every moment to deserve support. Neither must you become perfect before I receive you. What I desire is honesty and the courage to look within yourself and trust that your tender places do not diminish your dignity. In fact, within the very places you considered most fragile, I quietly placed an endurance you had not yet recognized. You survived days you thought you could never endure. Yet, each morning you continued to rise. You once believed a particular event would leave you broken forever. But you continued walking, even slowly, and even while your tears had not yet dried. Do not call that journey a failure, because someone truly, without strength, could never have come this far. You fought battles in rooms where no one could see you. You lifted your own heart after being wounded and continued choosing gentleness in a world often marked by coldness. Some victories are not accompanied by applause or rewarded publicly, yet they are still recorded in the spiritual realm. Each time you refused to repay cruelty with cruelty, you overcame. Each time you rose after disappointment knocked you down, you overcame. Each time you continued to hope before seeing a way forward. You proved that a power deeper than temporary emotion lives within you. That strength does not come from human praise, nor does it depend upon life being easy. It comes from my presence quietly lifting you. Therefore, stop waiting for someone else to appear and confirm who you are. No outside judgment can fully define what I have placed within you. Others may view you through one mistake, one unstable season, or an old version of yourself that you have already outgrown. But I see your entire journey. I see the seed before it breaks through the soil, and the wings, even while you remain enclosed within a narrow cocoon. You do not need to search endlessly for an identity that has already been engraved within you. You are not being asked to become a complete stranger to yourself. You are being called to return to the original person who was concealed beneath wounds, judgments, and fear. Many times, you measured your worth according to how you felt on a difficult day. When you were sad, you assumed you had lost your value. When you were afraid, you believed you lacked courage. When results had not yet appeared, you concluded that you were incapable. Yet emotions are like clouds passing across the sky. They may temporarily conceal the light, but they cannot erase the source of light that remains. You are not the sadness that visited you, the confusion that kept you awake, or the words spoken by those who never truly understood you. You are the one who survived all of these things. Therefore, never allow one vulnerable moment to become a sentence pronounced over your entire life. Even now, renewal is quietly unfolding within you. You may not yet know what to call it, but you have begun to sense that things you once accepted no longer feel right. Conversations that drain you now cause you to step back. Places where you once pretended are becoming too confining. Limiting thoughts that controlled you for years are losing their power. This is not arrogance or emotional distance. It is evidence that your awareness is maturing. I am expanding your vision so that you may understand you were not created merely to exist within boundaries established by others. You were called to live with integrity, freedom, and peace, not to continually ask the world for permission to shine. The chains within your thinking are beginning to loosen. You will gradually recognize that many former limitations existed only because you believed them for too long. You believed you were not capable because someone treated you with contempt. You assumed your voice did not matter because there were times when no one listened. You thought your dreams were too great because people who lived in fear could not imagine what you saw. Yet the lack of understanding in others is not a measure of your potential. Some people can recognize only the version of you that fits the mold they created. When you outgrow that mold, they will accuse you of changing. They are correct. You are changing, but not in a way that takes you farther from goodness. You are returning more closely to the truth of who you are. I know that feeling out of place once caused you to wonder whether something was wrong with you. You entered crowded rooms and still felt alone. You tried to fit in, yet a quiet voice within you continually whispered that you did not belong to that way of living. Understand that difference is sometimes not a flaw, but a form of protection. Had you felt completely comfortable everywhere, you might have remained too long in environments that diminished your light. The lack of belonging that once caused you pain also prevented you from taking root in places unable to nourish your future. I used that very feeling to awaken you, helping you understand that you needed greater space, more sincere relationships, and a path aligned with what was growing within you. Do not be afraid, because you are no longer the person you once were. Allow your former self to come to a close with gratitude, for that version of you helped you survive a difficult season, yet you do not need to carry it into every stage ahead. The defenses that once protected you can become walls that prevent love from reaching you. The caution that once kept you safe can cause you to miss opportunities to be truly seen. Therefore, I am gently teaching you to distinguish what must remain from what must be released. You do not need to transform completely in a single night. Take each step slowly. Listen for peace, and trust that I will not lead you forward only to abandon you halfway. My beloved child, your true strength is not found in never having fallen. but in learning to rise with greater wisdom each time you fell. It is not found in never feeling pain, but in refusing to let pain destroy your compassion. It is not expressed through noise, display, or constant attempts to prove yourself. It is revealed through the calmness of one who knows they belong to the light. From this day forward, stop apologizing for your growth. Stop diminishing yourself to fit places that have become too small. Stop doubting what I have quietly been building within you. You are not disappearing, you are being revealed. You are not losing yourself, you are returning home to who you truly are. Through every step of that return, I remain beside you, supporting you with a gentle hand until you can look upon yourself and recognize what I have always seen. You are strong, precious, and created to walk in freedom. You are standing before an important transformation. Even though your eyes cannot yet perceive the entire road unfolding ahead, the trials you recently faced did not come so that I could determine whether you were worthy. For I have always known every ability placed within you from the beginning. They came so that you could recognize how much you have matured, how faithfully you have endured, and how capable you have become of standing firm before circumstances that once caused you to tremble. Some forms of strength are discovered only during difficult seasons, just as certain qualities shine only after familiar sources of support are removed. Therefore, do not look back upon the road behind you only with sadness or exhaustion. Look upon it with gratitude, because every step has brought you closer to the person I am guiding you to become. I want you to understand that your perseverance is not insignificant. There were times when you believed you were merely trying to survive one day at a time. But, in truth, you were learning not to surrender to the darkness of confusion. There were moments when you did not know how to continue, yet you still chose to rise. Preserve your kindness, and refuse to let pain turn you into a bitter person. Those quiet choices formed genuine maturity. You do not need a crowd to witness them for them to have value. I saw every time you swallowed your tears so that you would not hurt another person. Every time you chose silence instead of answering in anger. And every time you remained honest even when no one praised you. From this point forward, a new awareness will gradually grow within you. You will no longer speak about yourself in ways that diminish your worth. Nor will you continue asking others for permission to live according to the value I placed within you. The way you enter a room will change, not because you desire to be above anyone, but because you no longer carry the belief that you are beneath everyone. Your decisions will also become steadier, because you have learned that peace does not come from pleasing every person. It comes from knowing that you are moving in the right direction. There will be moments when you are surprised to discover that you no longer react as you once did. What once caused panic will now cause you to pause and observe. What once stole your sleep will merely remind you to act with greater discernment. These are signs that you have truly crossed an inner threshold. Therefore, do not return to patterns that once held you in uncertainty. Do not search for security in the very things from which I delivered you. Some doors were once familiar, but are no longer suitable for your new season. Some relationships were once close, but can no longer accompany the direction of your journey. You do not need to deny the past or hate what happened. You simply need to understand that every season has its limits. Once a lesson has been completed, you should not remain in the old classroom merely because you fear entering the unknown. Growth requires you to know how to leave peacefully, close a chapter with gratitude, and move forward with open hands. Along this journey, You must also remain discerning toward promises that appear too easy. The world often uses glamorous stories to persuade you that one instant secret can solve every difficulty, or that a few seconds, a hidden formula, or an attractive advertisement can replace wisdom, discipline, and gradual growth. I do not want your heart to be carried away by fantasies of effortless wealth or assurances without a sound foundation. Lasting prosperity is not built upon impatience. It is established by wisely managing what you already possess, continuing to learn, working honestly, and distinguishing genuine opportunities from traps covered in beautiful language. The goodness I prepare for you will never require you to abandon discernment. Remember that a miracle does not always appear as something falling from heaven without your participation. Many miracles begin when you dare to face the truth. Bring order to what has become chaotic. Abandon a habit that drains your resources, and learn to be patient with the process. One wise decision repeated each day can transform your future. A small amount handled responsibly can become the foundation of stability. A skill developed quietly can open a door you once believed you would never reach. I do not guide you through illusion. I guide you through light that is clear enough to reveal the next step and gentle enough not to overwhelm you. What is being placed before you is therefore not only a reward after months of perseverance, it is also a sacred responsibility. When greater opportunities are entrusted to you, you are invited to live with greater maturity. When your voice gains influence, your words must carry healing instead of causing harm. When greater resources come into your hands, you must use them to build what is good rather than to prove your worth. When others begin to notice you, you do not need to become boastful or performative. Simply continue living with sincerity, calmness, and integrity. The peace expressed through your presence will touch others more deeply than lengthy speeches. You will eventually notice people coming to you, not because you are perfect, but because they sense a steadiness within you that was formed through adversity. They will see how you face uncertainty without losing kindness, how you maintain boundaries without becoming cold, and how you move forward without demeaning those who once hurt you. They may not be able to explain what is different, but they will feel it. Your presence will become a reminder that a person can pass through dark days and still preserve light within the heart, can experience rejection without losing dignity, and can begin again without carrying bitterness. This is why your journey has never concerned you alone. What you learn today will become support for someone else tomorrow. The comfort you have received will teach you how to comfort others. The boundaries you learn to establish will help you show others how to protect their peace. The mistakes you have made will fill your counsel with compassion rather than judgment. I waste nothing in your story. Even the chapters you wish you could erase can become sources of wisdom, provided that you no longer live as though you are still imprisoned within them. Step into the new season with gentle confidence. You do not need to speak loudly to prove your strength, nor must you compete for recognition. Genuine stability is often quiet. It is expressed through the way criticism no longer controls you, the way you refuse to react hastily to every provocation, and the way you no longer sell your principles for temporary acceptance. You know who walks beside you, and that knowledge is enough for you to hold your head high while keeping your heart humble. I will not leave you when you enter new doors, nor will I abandon you when you face important decisions. Every step ahead will continue teaching you something, but you are no longer walking as one who has never endured hardship. You carry discernment refined through experience, courage that has been awakened, and peace that cannot easily be taken away. When an opportunity appears, receive it with gratitude and careful observation. When a door closes, remember that not every ending is a loss. When you must choose between what is familiar and what is right, choose what draws you closer to integrity. I will remain with you in every decision. During the days when you feel certain and during the moments when you still tremble, you do not need to see the entire road before taking the next step. You need only remain faithful to the light placed before your feet. Because every small step taken in trust will lead you toward the place I have quietly prepared for you. A quiet strength is growing within you, causing the things that once unsettled you to lose their former power. This transformation is not loud, but it has been formed through every day. You continued walking despite exhaustion and every occasion when you chose calmness over impulsive reaction. I was there, quietly cultivating endurance, patience, and peace within you. The difficulties you endured did more than drain your energy. They developed within you a deeper ability to persevere. In the past, you were more easily affected by careless words or minor disappointments. But now you have learned to pause, listen, and choose with greater wisdom. This is evidence that you are maturing. Your body and mind are also adjusting to a new rhythm of life. Moments of fatigue or a desire for solitude are not signs of weakness, but part of the process of restoration. Honor your need for rest. Care for yourself, and allow yourself to slow down whenever necessary. What you are experiencing is not punishment, but preparation. I do not place everything into your hands too early. Before you are ready, I am helping you become steady enough to receive and preserve the good things that are coming. Not everyone will understand this journey, but you are not required to prove it to them. Your growth does not depend upon the recognition of others. Remain cautious toward promises of quick and effortless success. Genuine prosperity is built through wise choices repeated each day. Perseverance and understanding. Do not allow fear or desperation to persuade you to trust anything that lacks clarity and integrity. I will open the right opportunities at the proper time, but you must continue growing so that you can use them wisely. Keep moving forward, because you are being guided toward what is most suitable for you at exactly the right moment.